As promised, this is a new part after only one day, so let's reach 3,000 likes. And thanks to the friends who support the channel financially. 2 days later, from the front entrance, Ryu heard his younger brother's exclamation. He was saying, "Whoa, Hyung! What's all this? What's going on?" With an indifferent expression, Ryu Min went outside to inspect the stack of delivery boxes and said, "They've arrived." His younger brother inquired, "Did you order all of this?" Ryu replied, "Yes." His brother said, "What in the world?" Ryu said, "It's nothing. These are items used by players." He said, "Oh, I see." Then he began opening the boxes one by one. The contents were neatly packed into the 105 parcels he had ordered, and they were a perfect match. And Ryu said, "All right, let's dive into some combinations. Let's start with the surplus of magic stone." And he began fusing magic stones of the same color, repeatedly, including those he had previously possessed. Then he said, "With just 16 lowest-grade magic stones, I can craft one top-tier magic stone. After that system messages appear, combination successful, you've forged a highest-grade red magic stone. You've crafted a highest-grade orange magic stone. You've produced a highest-grade yellow magic stone. You've shaped a highest-grade purple magic stone. 7 top-tier magic stones, each in a different color, were now in his possession. Then Ryu said happily, "Great. If now I embed these into each piece of equipment," and he implanted the magic stones into weapons, helmets, armor, gloves, boots, necklaces, and rings, and system messages appear, combination successful. The damage plus 116% bonus is added to Death's side. You've got a strength plus 32 bonus on Hermes' feathered helm. The Wanderer's linen clothes now grants a luck buster 32 bonus. The Ring of Resistance is now enhanced with the all stats plus 16 bonus. Now all of his equipment had been adorned with these top-tier magic stones, and once he put them on, Ryu's stats skyrocketed. Strength 206, Intelligence 284, Agility 244, Luck 202. Seeing that, Ryu couldn't help but smile with satisfaction and said, "All of my stats are now above 200, even without the Slaughter Rune and Bless buff." But suddenly a message appeared from the system. "You've equipped 7 highest-grade magic stones of different colors. The Rainbow Effect buff is now in effect." Then other messages appeared from the system. "Due to the Rainbow Effect buff, your resistance to status ailments has increased by 50%. For Ryu, status ailments were the most menacing threat, and with the Rainbow Effect, he could bolster his resistance to them by 50%. No wonder Ryu's smile remained unwavering. It was indeed a significant gain, and he said, "A 50% resistance boost is incredibly helpful, and if we factor in Java's necklace with 35%, the Ring of Resistance with 35%, and the base resistance of 15% from the common skill, I can prevent status ailments with an approximately 82.1% success rate. In fact, wearing magic stones of different colors indeed offered tremendous benefits, but most people won't receive a similar buff. It's not something achievable with regular magic stones, as the Rainbow Effect activates when you wear the top-tier magic stones of each color, and lower-grade magic stones won't trigger the buff." Then Ryu said most people will find it difficult to create even intermediate magic stones. There's a limit to the magic stones individuals can obtain. So at this point, aside from me, there likely isn't anyone else with top-tier magic stones equipped, because I had monopolized every single magic stone. Of course, with time, more will become available, and people looking to acquire magic stones through trade websites would emerge sooner or later. But by then, the value of magic stones will skyrocket, and scarcity will become an issue. Currently, even the lowest grade ones cost over 2 million won, and that's just for the lowest grade. And in the future, prices will likely exceed 20 million won. Then Ryu said, "Now, it was time to craft unique items." In fact, making unique items is straightforward. You just need to put the main item you want to enhance and the specified materials into the secondary materials. And it wasn't about creating entirely new items, but rather enhancing existing ones. However, Ryu didn't have immediate plans for it, and he said, "I've got the materials, but I'll hold off for now. It's more advantageous to enhance high-tier equipment, so the grade of the primary equipment should be higher." Currently, Ryu is at level 54, and he would reach level 60 in no time. Then his grade grade will rise to master, and the level of equipment he can buy at the store will also rise. And it would be a better deal to raise the grade and buy master-grade equipment from the store for crafting. As Ryu examined the recently added materials, his eyes blinked in disbelief and said, "Wait, this is..." The reason for Ryu's astonishment was nothing short of extraordinary. As he saw the materials needed for legendary item crafting, Ryu's gaze fixated on an item featured in a sales listing. Fragment of immortal skin. Category: possession. Description: a sliced piece of skin from a creature known as the Immortal. Seller: Don't Go 95. Price: 1,000 Inquiry available. Chat: available. Transaction method: in-person only. Transaction location: Suwon. Seeing this item, Ryu said, "Undoubtedly this is the item we need for the legendary combination." Yet Ryu had initially excluded it for a compelling reason, and that reason was rather straightforward. Obtaining legendary materials at this early point is impossible. Not entirely impossible, but immensely challenging. And Ryu added, "There's only one place where obtaining a piece of immortal skin seems remotely feasible. That place was none other than the 5th round boss, the High Orc. And the exceedingly rare chance of acquiring the immortal skin piece upon defeating that powerful boss was widely acknowledged. But the High Orc was far from an easy boss to conquer, even surpassing the strength of the 6th round boss, the Minotaur." Then Ryu inquired, did he really manage to kill the boss and obtain this material through sheer luck? And he added, "Certainly, luck played a part, but without the skill to match, it remained an unattainable feat. So who might it be? Who possesses the prowess to defeat a High Orc?" At that moment, several names floated through his thoughts. Among them, one particular name seemed to linger in his mind, and Ryu said, "Could it possibly be him? An individual skilled enough to conquer the High Orc and in possession of the Rune of the Drop. And if the person he suspected was indeed the seller, this item might be a bait." After a few moments of thought, Ryu said, "Considering that only in-person transactions are available, I should send a message to find out." And before finalizing the purchase, Ryu Min initiated a chat. "Ryu, hello? Are you the one selling the piece of immortal skin?" Seller: "Yes." Ryu: "You've listed it for 1,000,001 and it mentions that inquiries are welcome?" Seller: I don't typically offer that, but I can make an exception. What's your proposed price?" Ryu: 900,000 won. Would that work for you? Seller: "Well, it's a bit of a stretch, but all right, it's not that big of a..." Ryu: "Oh, never mind, I misspoke. Can you lower it by 100,000 won? 800,000 won. Seller: Are you joking?" Ryu: "Why? After all, the price isn't fixed. And honestly, I'm not even sure of its utility." Seller: "Then why are you trying to purchase something whose purpose you don't know?" Ryu: "I want to experiment with various combinations. Everyone buys material items for that, right?" Ryu: "But my finances aren't great right now. Could you offer a discount?" Ryu: "Hello?" Ryu: "Hello?" Ryu: "Why aren't you responding?" Seller: "Fine, I'll sell it to you for 800,000 won, but we'll conduct the transaction in cash. Can you come to Suwon?" Ryu: "Of course." Seller: "Can you come to this place?" Upon seeing the address in the chat, Ryu couldn't help but crack a smile and said to himself, "It seems this might indeed be the person I'm thinking of." And even with a 200,000 won discount, they still wanted to proceed with the sale. This item was likely just bait. It might be a bit premature for their meeting, but Ryu decided to don his coat. After all, if he didn't step in, more victims would pile up, and he also needed to secure that legendary material. And Ryu said, "I should go and have a look, just in case. And fortunately, I had the rainbow effect buff, which was a relief, but even without it, I won't be an easy target." Then, with a sly grin, Ryu confidently left his house. At the same time, Ju Sung-taik, who had been engaged in a chat with Ryu, couldn't help but burst into laughter and said, "The fuck is wrong with this guy? He have the audacity to ask for a 20% discount on what an item that I've listed for 1,000,000 won? In fact, this was an item that dropped after defeating the 5th round boss, the High Orc, and he had struggled mightily to take down the High Orc, thinking he was a goner. Who would have thought that the High Orc was such a strong monster?" Then he inquired angrily, trying to gulp down an item he had worked so hard to obtain for a mere 800,000 won? This guy really wants to meet his end. And he smiled wickedly and said, "When had it ever been a non-lethal rendezvous?" Sure, he had been planning to eliminate them anyway, but this individual was different, and he added angrily, You won't meet a peaceful end if we ever cross paths. You little sheet. But suddenly he was taken aback as he heard the labored breath of someone on the brink of death beneath. Please, spare me. Ju Sung-taek laughed and said, quite the actor, aren't you? What's this? You're not dead yet? The man said. Please, save me, Ju Sung-taek said angrily. Save me is too informal. Then his dagger pierced through the man's throat, and he said, You're saying some ridiculous things. Tsk, you scared the hell out of me. And in any case, that guy is as good as dead when he shows up. It wasn't just talk. If the buyer actually came, he'd kill them. After all, the item had been bait for that purpose, and that's why he had let it go with a 20% discount. It wasn't something he intended to sell anyway. Then he said, Why sell it? Do you know how much I suffered to obtain it? If I wanted to sell it, I wouldn't do it for dog food money. Although he didn't know what the item was used for, but it could be used to lure people. And he said, why? To lure them? He answered himself with a damned evil smile. Because it was fun. No, to be precise, because life had become boring. Then he looked at the corpse and said, What if I hide the corpse I just killed in a clothing collection bin next to the alley, and the buyer shows up? And I would detonate the corpse with the corpse explosion skill. Turning away from the corpse, Ju Sung-taek looked at his phone. There were 3 hours left until the agreed-upon time with Ryu, and he laughed and said, Hurry up, you bastard. I've prepared a gift for you. Finally, step by step, one person entered the alley where the trap was set. That person was Ryu. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel financially.